What if I told you that a single message could spark a deep emotional longing in a man's heart? Not just a passing thought, but a powerful desire to bring you back into his life. This isn't about manipulation. It's about truly understanding how men think, what makes them crave someone, and how you can use that knowledge to create lasting attraction. Men are wired for challenge, for purpose, for the pursuit of something meaningful. If you're too present, too predictable, you begin to fade into the background of his life. But when you learn to express yourself in a way that activates his deeper psychological need for admiration and connection, he won't just think of you, he'll yearn for you. Today, I'm going to give you the one message that will make him miss you intensely. And more importantly, I'll help you shift your mindset so that you never feel the need to chase a man again. People don't miss what's easily accessible. This is a truth many women find hard to accept, because when it comes to love, we're often told that love should be constant, always visible, always given freely. But that's not how human psychology works, especially when it comes to desire and longing. Think about it. When something is always within reach, always available, it becomes ordinary. You stop noticing it, you stop valuing it. But the second it's no longer there, its worth increases in your mind. You begin to wonder about it, you start missing it, and the desire grows. That's exactly how a man's mind works when it comes to attraction and emotional attachment. If you're always answering his texts right away, always starting conversations, always agreeing to his plans, or constantly checking in on him, you are taking away the very thing that makes him desire you: space. Men are built to chase. From an evolutionary view, their instincts are tied to the thrill of pursuit. When something is too easy to get, it doesn't stir up that deep instinct that longs for conquest. That's why women who carry a bit of mystery, who aren't always reachable, are the ones that stay on a man's mind. Creating space is not about playing games. It's about showing that you're a high-value woman with a life that doesn't revolve around him. When you allow space, he starts to feel your absence, and in that quiet, his mind begins to turn on itself. He begins to ask, why hasn't she reached out? Is she thinking about me? Is someone else taking her attention? That curiosity creates emotional tension, and that emotional tension turns into desire. He starts remembering the good times, romanticizing your connection, and suddenly he's the one checking his phone, hoping for a message from you. That's the effect of space. It makes him value what he once overlooked. It allows him to feel a sense of loss, which sparks the urge to bring back what he feels slipping away. But here's where many women make a mistake. As soon as he starts to show signs of missing them, they rush in. They text back quickly, they explain why they were silent, or worse, they let it seem like they've been waiting all along. That completely undoes the effect. The real way to make him miss you is to keep that distance even after he begins to reach out. You don't want to be seen as someone just sitting around for him. You want to be seen as a woman whose time and presence are a privilege. Keeping your distance is a sign of self-respect. It shows that you have standards and won't overinvest. It makes him realize that if he doesn't step up, he could lose you. A man who genuinely values you will notice this and make the effort. If he doesn't, then he was never worth your energy to begin with. So take a step back. Stop texting all the time. Stop being always available. Let him feel what life is like when you're not always there. That's when he'll come to understand. You're not just any woman. You're the one he can't let go of. Men don't miss you because of what you say. They miss you because of how you made them feel. This is what's called emotional imprinting, a deep psychological effect that determines how strongly someone remembers and yearns for another person. Think about your own past. There are probably people you don't talk to anymore, yet they cross your mind from time to time. Maybe an old flame, a childhood friend, or even someone you barely spent time with. Why do they linger in your thoughts? It's not because of their texts or the logic of your conversations. It's because they left an emotional mark. Men are no different. They may not always talk about their feelings, but they are still shaped by them. When a man shares a strong emotional bond with you, it gets stored in his subconscious. Later, when he hears a song, visits a place, or smells a scent that brings you to mind, all those emotions come flooding back, and suddenly he misses you deeply. That's why making him miss you doesn't mean writing long emotional messages or constantly showing your care. It means ensuring your time together was meaningful and emotionally rich, so even when you're not there, your memory still stays with him. How do you create that kind of bond? Understand that men react more to experiences than to words. If you were always complaining, always available, or creating stress in his life, then the emotional imprint isn't positive. But if he remembers joy, laughter, meaningful moments, and genuine connection when he thinks of you, he'll miss those feelings and the version of himself that existed with you. This is where emotional triggers matter. Instead of a dry, "Hey, how are you?" text, try reminding him of a special moment you shared. For example, "I just heard that song from our road trip. It brought back memories. Hope you're doing well." This kind of message does two key things. First, it brings back an emotional memory, making him feel the moment again. Second, it keeps a bit of mystery. You're recalling something from the past, but not revealing how you truly feel about it now. This creates curiosity. He starts wondering if you're thinking about him, if you still care, and that draws him in. To build emotional imprinting, don't always be in touch. If you're always messaging, talking about everyday things, it doesn't give him time to feel your absence. Your messages should be rare, memorable, and filled with emotion, not just routine updates. Focus on moments that stir something inside. That's when he won't just think about you, he'll feel drawn to you again. Now, here's the heart of it, the one message that will make him miss you deeply. Most women think they need to pour their hearts out or directly ask if he still has feelings, but that usually pushes him away. Why? Because when you chase or ask for reassurance, you're giving away your power. Instead of sparking interest, you become too predictable. The best way to make him miss you is to plant a thought in his mind that slowly grows, making him come to the realization on his own that he wants you back. Here's the text that does just that. "I just heard a song/place/smell that reminded me of you. Hope everything's going great." It sounds simple, but it carries a deep psychological trigger. It brings up a shared moment, activates emotions, and most importantly, doesn't demand a reply. It shows he left an impression without making you seem needy. It plants a seed of curiosity. He'll wonder if you still care, and that curiosity will pull at him. And here's what matters most. Don't over-explain. If he replies, respond lightly. Keep it warm but brief. Don't overload the chat. Let him chase. If he doesn't reply right away, resist the urge to follow up. The power of the message is in its subtlety and the patience you show. You're letting emotions and memories do the work. When used well, this message touches his subconscious, triggering nostalgia and desire. He'll catch himself thinking about you out of nowhere, wondering why he suddenly feels a pull toward you. And that's when you'll know you've left an emotional mark he can't ignore. To make a man miss you intensely, remember this core truth. Men are drawn to what they don't fully understand. The moment a man feels like he completely has you, the mystery fades. But when there's space, emotion, and subtle reminders of a meaningful connection, you become the one he can't stop thinking about, like he has you completely figured out. When there's no mystery left, his interest naturally starts to fade. This doesn't mean he doesn't care about you, but rather that the excitement and emotional pull lessen when things become too predictable. This is why maintaining a sense of mystery and intrigue is one of the most powerful ways to make him think about you non-stop. Why do people become obsessed with solving puzzles or mysteries? Because their minds crave answers. When something isn't fully explained, the brain naturally fills in the blanks. The same psychological principle applies to attraction. If you are an open book, always sharing your thoughts, feelings, and daily routine, there's nothing left for him to wonder about. He doesn't have to think about what you're doing or who you're with, because you've already given him all the answers. But when you leave some gaps, when you don't reveal everything, his curiosity increases. He starts thinking, what is she up to? Why isn't she texting me as much? Is she moving on? And that curiosity turns into longing. One of the biggest mistakes women make is believing that they need to constantly reassure a man of their interest. In reality, it's the moments of uncertainty that create the strongest emotional impact. Have you ever noticed how the less available someone is, the more you think about them? The same rule applies here. When you create a little distance, when you don't reveal every detail of your life, you become more interesting. Instead of chasing his attention, you become the woman he can't stop thinking about. So how do you create mystery in a way that feels natural? First, don't overshare. If he asks what you've been up to, don't give a long, detailed answer. Instead, say something like, "Oh, I've been busy with a few exciting things." This keeps the conversation light, but also sparks curiosity. He starts to wonder what those exciting things are. Maybe you're going on new adventures, meeting new people, or just enjoying life without him. The not knowing is what makes him more curious. Second, limit your availability. If you respond to every text immediately, always say yes to plans, or constantly check in, you remove the sense of challenge. But if you occasionally take your time to reply, skip a day without texting, or turn down a plan because you're genuinely busy, it sends a strong message. Your life doesn't revolve around him. This actually makes him value your time more. He starts to understand that being with you is not a guarantee, it's a privilege. Lastly, leave conversations on a high note. Instead of waiting for the conversation to slowly die out, be the one to end it first. Say something like, "I'd love to keep chatting, but I've got to run. Talk soon." This leaves him wanting more. He doesn't get full emotional closure, which means his mind keeps returning to you. Mystery and intrigue aren't about playing games or manipulating emotions. They're about keeping a sense of independence and excitement. When a man feels like he's still discovering new sides of you, when he's unsure about where he stands with you, that's when he starts to miss you the most. He doesn't just want to be with you, he needs to figure you out, and that keeps him coming back. If you want a man to miss you like crazy, the most powerful thing you can do is embrace the mindset of a high-value woman. This is the kind of woman who doesn't chase, doesn't beg for attention, and doesn't need constant approval, because she already knows her worth. She is confident, self-sufficient, and gives off an energy that draws people toward her. And here's the truth. A man doesn't miss a woman who clings to him, he misses the woman he knows he can't fully have. So what does it mean to have a high-value mindset? First, it means putting yourself first. Always. Too many women make the mistake of shaping their whole world around a man, adjusting their schedule to match his, constantly checking their phone for his texts, and waiting for his approval. But when a man sees that you're willing to sacrifice your own happiness just to keep him interested, he doesn't see value, he sees desperation. A high-value woman, on the other hand, is busy living her best life. She has her own goals, her own passions, and her own circle. She's not waiting around for a man to complete her, she's already whole. And that kind of independence is incredibly attractive. Second, a high-value woman sets standards and keeps them. She doesn't tolerate inconsistency, disrespect, or half-hearted effort. She knows what she deserves and has no problem walking away from situations that don't match her self-worth. This is what makes a man think twice about losing her. When you show through your words and actions that you won't settle for less than you deserve, you instantly set yourself apart. You become the woman who is not easily won over, and that makes you far more desirable. Another important part of the high-value mindset is emotional control. When a woman always reacts to a man's actions, whether it's texting him in frustration, over-explaining her feelings, or getting upset when he pulls away, she gives him all the power. But when you learn to control your emotions, when you stay calm and composed, you create an aura of mystery and strength. A man starts to wonder why you're not chasing him, why you seem so unaffected, and that's when he starts chasing you instead. Also, a high-value woman knows when to walk away. This is one of the strongest things you can do to make a man miss you. If he is being inconsistent, taking you for granted, or not putting in effort, you don't argue, beg, or try to convince him to change. You simply step away. Not to play games, not to manipulate, but because you honestly refuse to settle for less. And the moment you do this, something changes in a man's mind. He realizes you are not like other women. He can't play games with you. He can't keep you on the line because you know your value. And that realization makes him miss you in a way he never expected. Finally, the high-value woman mindset is about abundance. She doesn't think, what if I lose him? She thinks, if he doesn't see my value, someone else will. That confidence is magnetic. A man will always miss the woman who carries herself with the certainty that she is the prize. Not because she says it, but because she lives it. When you fully live with this mindset, you won't have to send lots of texts or try to convince a man to miss you. He will feel your absence like a loss, because he'll know that losing you means losing something rare and special. So, you've sent the powerful, emotionally stirring text, the one that subtly reminds him of you, sparks his curiosity and starts making him miss you. And now he replies. Maybe it's a simple, hey, I was just thinking about that too. Maybe it's a longer, more emotional message, or maybe it's just, hope you're doing well too. Whatever it is, this is the moment where most women either increase the emotional connection or ruin it. How you reply next will decide if he starts craving you more or if he slips back into his usual patterns. The first and most important rule, do not overreact. It doesn't matter if you've waited days, weeks, or even months for this message. You have to stay calm. The worst thing you can do is send a long emotional reply asking why he disappeared or telling him how much you missed him. That kills the mystery and makes it seem like you were just waiting around. Instead, keep your reply short, light, and slightly distant. For example, if he says, hey, I was just thinking about that too, you don't need to reply with, gee, really? I miss those times so much. Do you miss me too? Instead, say, funny how certain things bring back memories. Hope you've been doing well. That works perfectly. It responds, but doesn't show too much emotion. It keeps things open and makes him work harder for more of your attention. The second step is to mirror his energy. If he's sending short, casual texts, don't reply with long messages. If he's being friendly but distant, match that tone. But if he starts getting nostalgic, asking about your life or trying to go deeper, then you can slowly open the door, but only a little. The goal is to keep him wondering, is she still interested? Does she still care? That uncertainty will push him to try harder. Now, let's say he asks something direct like, so how have you been? This is your chance to show that you're a high-value woman living an exciting, full life. Instead of saying, I've been okay, just working and missing you. Say something like, really good, been busy with some new projects and trying out new things. What about you? This sends a quiet but strong message. You've moved on. You're not stuck in the past. You're not waiting for him. Your life is full, with or without him. And that makes him want to be part of it again. But what if he says something like, I miss those times, or I miss talking to you? Here's where you need to be smart. A low-value answer would be, I miss you too, we should catch up soon. That's too easy. Instead, say something like, yeah, those were great times. Crazy how life moves fast. That responds to his feelings, but doesn't offer instant comfort. It makes him work more to see if you're still emotionally open. Finally, don't make yourself too available too quickly. If he starts texting more, don't rush to respond every time. Take your time. Keep some mystery. Let him feel what it's like to miss you in between conversations. If he truly wants to reconnect, he'll put in the effort. Your role isn't to chase. It's to let him step up and show his true intentions. At the end of it all, the way you respond determines whether he obsesses over you or forgets you. Keep your strength, stay calm. Let him feel the full impact of wanting you. At the heart of everything we've talked about, the real way to make a man miss you like crazy isn't through tricks or games. It's by becoming a woman so valuable, so magnetic, that he feels your absence deeply. When you show confidence, keep some mystery, and never settle for less than you deserve. You change the dynamic. You're not the woman who waits. You're the woman he wants to chase. Remember,